New episode of Big Deke News. Lots of stuff to talk about from over the weekend, huh? On Friday, Deshaun Watson was officially cleared of criminal charges, which got the NFL world and Steeler fans in a tizzy. This is the news that everyone was waiting on pins and needles for. Could a trade to Pittsburgh actually happen now? But what we got instead since then is just the shitstorm continuing on Twitter, where you have reports saying that, yeah, Pittsburgh is Deshaun Watson's preferred destination, and he really wants to go there. But then on the other side, you have reporters saying, yeah, there's not a snowball's chance in hell that this happens. So when you combine those two elements, I am thinking that Deshaun Watson does legitimately want to play for the Steelers. But at the same time, I'm wondering how interested Pittsburgh is. Or if they are interested, how much are they really willing to give up? The X factor in all this is Watson's no trade clause, because ultimately he could decide yes or no to whatever trade is proposed. So even if the Saints or Panthers have the best offer, he could just tell the Texans, no, I'm not going there. So if the Steelers are actually interested, and the only thing that's holding them up is maybe the amount of assets that they would have to give up for Watson, maybe this no trade clause can buy the organization some time to talk it out and then eventually propel them to make a deal. Because, bruh, if Deshaun Watson's on this team, we're thinking championships. And it seems like everyone in the NFL community sees Watson to Pittsburgh as making a ton of sense. Hell, we even got Pittsburgh players thinking it's a good idea. Deontay Johnson's liking a tweet by Stephen A. Smith referencing Watson to Pittsburgh. Also, remember how Najee Harris responded to the question about who he thinks should be the quarterback for the Steelers next season. So hopefully the Steelers come to those senses at some point. If it takes 3 first-rounders and a player, you got to do it. And I still stand by everything I've said about Mason being the Steelers' QB1 for 2022. I see it as a top 3 to 4 option given the quarterback landscape right now, and also his $5 million contract. I just think he's going to outperform what the naysayers say about him and also exceed expectations. But with that being said, I mean, when you have a chance at a franchise quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and now Deshaun Watson, you just make that move. And I don't think those sentiments have to be mutually exclusive. Like, I could still think that Mason's going to do fine if we stick with him, but that doesn't mean I don't want us to go out there and get a franchise guy. It all depends on the route the Steelers want to take. Now, I prefer franchise quarterback because, yeah, I know the impact that means to an organization. And how even with Deshaun Watson, his no trade clause, maybe you could get him for less than what Wilson went for or what Rodgers could have went for. All depends. But I just don't think it's going to be the hell that everyone sees it to be if we go with Mason. So we'll keep track on the scenario and see how it plays out. In other quarterback news, it's reported that the Steelers are interested in a guy that's maybe just, a tad worse than Deshaun Watson at playing the quarterback position. Yes, Jacoby Brissett. I really hope this doesn't happen. I mean, I know I just said he's a little bit worse than Deshaun Watson, but no, that was a joke. I hope you guys picked up on that. I just don't think Jacoby's that good at quarterback. I don't think he's really much better than Mason, if better than him at all. So unless we're getting him for less money than what Mason is, it'd have to be less than $5 million, maybe a $2 or $3 million deal just to get another quarterback in the room. I just don't think it makes sense. So why pay him more than Mason or at the same price? So let's just say $5 million, $6 million, when you can use that money towards an offensive lineman, when you can use that money towards a safety like Terrell Edmonds, re-signing Edmonds, or a cornerback. So I just don't see the use of allocating our money in that way. So for quarterbacks, as I mentioned, with kind of Mason Rudolph actually being a top 3 to 4 option for us, outside of Watson, outside of Winston, outside of Willis, I don't really want us trying to get another quarterback out there on the market. I mean, I guess you could throw Pickett in there as well. I'm a Pitt guy, held a Pitt, but that's really it. Let's finish this up talking about some of the signings the Steelers recently made. They re-signed both Miles Killebrew and Arthur Maulet to 2-year deals. Miles Killebrew was 2 years, $4 million, and I think we're still waiting on the reported numbers for Maulet. With Miles Killebrew, this is a no-brainer, great special teams player. We saw the value that he brought to the team last year with his 2 block punts. Could be our maybe long-term special teams ace. I mean, you think of those 2 block punts too. With the Bills game, we probably don't win that one without, and then also the Chargers, that catapulted us into that amazing comeback effort. So yeah, like I said, no-brainer and affordable contract. And with Arthur Maulet, doesn't really move the needle, especially not knowing the actual contract numbers, but I got to assume it's not anything more than the Miles Killebrew deal. So with that being said, yeah, I don't really have any complaints. I think it's a solid move. I thought he played pretty good for us last year outside of the Bears game. Gives us some nice insurance at cornerback, considering that Joe Hayden is most likely on his way out. I know they play different positions. Well, that's way more in the slot. Joe Hayden's on the outside. But you get my point. I don't think a move like this really hurts the the Steelers roster or their potential to go out and sign any more free agents. And that's it for Big Deke News on a Sunday. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay chilling. Peace.